One of the most dangerous young teams in the Austin Acoustic come into Seattle to battle the playoff-bound Mist. Next!
I just want to be given the chance.
You were the pioneers that built women's football.
The opportunity to succeed. Or even to fail.
You are the league of their own.
Figure out what the you need to do mentally to be able to sacrifice everything for the girl next to you.
You better knock the shit out of it.
Put the hurt on them first. Keep them on the ground. Stick your foot on their throat.
A beautiful night in the Pacific Northwest as LFL football comes into town. Welcome inside the booth of LFL Football Night. Mitch Mortaza and Bobby Huco. We are in Seattle as the Mist host the Austin Acoustic. Now, the Austin Acoustic folks coming into this game winless, but they are considered the fifth best team in the league. Very dangerous. For Seattle, they are undefeated coming into tonight, and they are loaded and primed for a Legends Cup run. Would be their third in 3 years. A pretty good matchup.
I am looking forward to this. I love passing, and we have two of the best passing attacks in the league with Seattle and Austin. For Austin, their quarterback, Tashay Winfrey, right now the #1 quarterback in the LFL. In fact, she might become the Western Conference all-fantasy quarterback in front of veterans like Ashley Salerno from LA and Seattle's KK Matheny.
That's unbelievable. Only in her second year could take the leap ahead of Salerno and Matheny. Now for Seattle, they have a pretty good quarterback situation as well at 1-2 with Matheny and Angel.
KK Matheny, she already won one LFL championship, on pace maybe to win a second. Her backup, Michelle Angel, started in Dallas and could start for any team in the LFL. There's not a better 1-2 combination.
Now, we know both offenses are loaded here. Seattle's coming in as the #1 ranked offense. Austin is #4 on that sheet. Let's talk defensive football, though. Both of these two teams have some good pieces.
For Austin, it's all Kendria Robinson, a rookie in her first year at defensive back. She might become the defensive player of the year for the Western Conference. And for Seattle up front, you have Jade Randall, defensive end, playing outstanding. And at linebacker, Danielle Hawkins having a career year.
There are a lot of big names on this field tonight. Who will stand out? It's the Austin Acoustic versus the Seattle Mist. Say it with me. Kickoff is next.
LFL Mobile, giving you access to the gridiron goddesses of the LFL with exclusive photos, videos, live game reporting, and fan promotions. LFL Mobile. Download on your Android or iPhone.
Back to LFL football night on a scenic night in Seattle, Washington, as the Seattle Mist host the Austin Acoustic on a playoff-like atmosphere inside the Shower Center.
This place is rocking. I'm looking forward to seeing a lot of fireworks with both these air attacks with KK Matheny and Tashay Winfrey, the leading passer in the LFL.
A nice opening kick. That is Jessica Hopkins deep to receive. Surprisingly, Hopkins brought it out. Only makes it out to about the 8-yard line.
Jessica Hopkins is her last home game ever in Seattle. Of course she's going to bring it out. She wanted to take that one coast to coast.
It'll be a 1st and 10 for this Seattle offense. Coming in the #1 ranked offense in the league. We talked about it in the pregame show. Led by that young lady, KK Matheny, in her 3rd season as the signal caller here in Seattle.
Head coach Chris Michelson said he's going to play KK Matheny the entire game tonight. This is so key for this team to play good going into the playoffs. They don't want to stumble going into play Los Angeles.
You can see the numbers on Matheny, not an interception the entire season. They're going to open it up on the ground with Stevie Schnorr. A good-looking run of 7 yards.
The Bull, give it to her, power blocking in front of her. She's always going to get 4 or 5 yards. The premier power back in the league.
Setting up a 2nd and 3. Ball at the 15 of Seattle, and we've got our first flag of the night. That indication it should be a false start on Seattle.
Prior to the snap, false start, Seattle number 14. That's a 5-yard penalty. It's still 2nd down.
Penalty on Shay Norton.
God damn it!
Head coach Chris Michelson not happy with the way this offense has started. A 2nd and 8 at its own 10-yard line. That is Dominique Malloy in motion. The fake to Malloy. A nice little pitch out to Stevie Schnorr. Another 7-yard gain by the Bull.
Head coach Chris Michelson told me before the game he wanted to use most of his 160 plays. I know he can't use them all, but he wanted to get everybody used to these plays going into the playoffs. We haven't seen that play all year long. They had jet motion with Malloy, then they come back with Schnorr underneath.
A 3rd and 1 now, a quick screen to Malloy. Dominique Malloy stretching it out. That'll be good enough for a Seattle first down.
Head coach Chris Michelson told me he likes that play. You swing Malloy out of the backfield, get her the ball in open space, and she is tough to bring down.
A 1st and 10 handoff. That is Stevie Schnorr. A gain of 5 yards as we meet the starters for Seattle.
Nicole Peterson, your center.
Jessica Hopkins, wide receiver.
Shay Norton,
Tight end.
Jade Randall, tight end.
Dominique Malloy, running back.
Stevie Schnorr, running back.
Hagen Matheny, quarterback.
Again, KK Matheny is the key to tonight's game. Coach Chris Michelson wants her to be solid, running on all cylinders going into the playoffs. Watch for her to throw the ball a lot.
That's another toss play to Stevie Schnorr. Another gain of 5 yards. That'll move the sticks as we meet Austin's defense.
Rachel Washington, corner.
Michelle Marshall, corner.
Kendra Robertson, safety.
Ana Garza,
Safety.
Brenda Lynn, linebacker.
Nicole Stoffel, defensive end.
Allie Dudley, defensive end.
Safety Kendria Robinson having a standout year has to play big tonight for Austin to have any chance against Seattle.
And how about the start that Stevie Schnorr has had? She's touched the ball on 5 of the opening 6 plays for this Seattle offense, gaining 6 yards on that run.
That was the game plan by head coach Chris Michelson. Establish the run with Schnorr and that outstanding line of Randall, Norton, and Peterson, which is going to open up the passing game for KK Matheny.
Matheny under center from the 16-yard line, rolling right, looking into the end zone or the corner. That was intended for Jessica Hopkins. A great break up there by Rachel Washington.
It looked like it was going to be a great completion. Rachel Washington came out of nowhere, closed on the ball, and stopped a touchdown.
Washington, a first-year player at the corner position. The corners here in Austin were under heat earlier in the year for their lack of tackling, mainly Melissa Romero and Cassandra Bills. Enter Rachel Washington.
They really came on. The head coach, Mike Oliveira, really coached discipline in the secondary, and it showed the last couple games.
We've got our second penalty of the night. This could be another false start on Seattle. Head referee Jeff Sidoris on the call.
Prior to snap, false start. Offense, Seattle number 2. That's a 5-yard penalty. It's still second down.
Schnorr not agreeing with the call. That is the second false start on this series, and offensive coordinator Chris Michelson cannot be happy at the execution early.
Not at all. In fact, that's why he's going to play the starters all night long. Get the kinks out. They can't have mistakes like this in the playoffs.
A 3rd and 9 ball at the 21 of Austin. That looks to be a crossing pattern to Jade Randall. And look at the tackle by Rachel Washington. Seattle does complete it for 9 yards.
Good read by Matheny. They had a post going over top. You have to throw that ball quick to get a completion, and she did.
Washington actually limited that completion to 6 yards. Now a vital 4th and 3 for this Seattle offense. And we talked about it. Austin is a dangerous team. You can't come into this game half asleep looking forward to the playoffs if you're Seattle.
That's what Coach Michelson was scared at. He goes, we don't want to stumble, maybe lose to Austin, and then moonwalk into the playoffs. You have to be ready to play. He wants to blow out Austin tonight.
A 4th and 3 reverse to Malloy. Touchdown, Seattle.
Just push play. Give her the ball. She is so dangerous. I love watching her run. Breaks 2 tackles and gets in the end zone for Seattle's first score. I love that offense. I hate the 2 penalties, but they look rock solid.
How about the stiff arm? Dominique Malloy delved out to Ana Garza and crossing over the goal line. A 15-yard run by number 3.
Just what the doctor ordered for head coach Chris Michelson. A 9-play drive to start this game off. They took the clock out of the game. It's down to 5 minutes, and they got their first score.
Now the 2-point attempt from the 3-yard line. Matheny from the shotgun, just a sidearm. That was intended, it looked like, to Jade Randall, deflected. Our score will remain 6-0 Seattle, so a good hold there, at least on the extra point. And that'll take us to our first break. Seattle up 6-0.
You wait till they break into the corner and then wait until they're open. And you gotta throw that as they break. They should be turning and the ball should be coming.
Okay.
That is head coach Chris Michelson having a little chat with KK Matheny on the sideline.
He's been saying that for 3 years. She waits till the receiver breaks, throw it before the break, and anticipate where the receiver's going to be.
This is Tashay Winfrey, the first look at the leading passer in the league, and not disappointing early, connecting with Leilani Lopez.
That was the game plan for Mike Oliveira and Austin for this offense. If they're not open deep, get it quickly underneath, get a solid game, which is going to bring the safeties up. Hopkins has to come up, then they go deep to Bills.
Leilani Lopez not getting a lot of credit as part of the Smurfs here. She's had 3 receptions on the season, not blaring numbers, but a good contributor. And the Smurfs, by the way, Kendria Williams, Cassandra Bills, Michelle Marshall, and Leilani Lopez. A 1st and 10, a toss right to Michelle Marshall. This offense looking good early. That was a 4-yard carry.
You gotta stay outside because when she motions, that's a crack. The edge is, you gotta get the edge, okay?
Chris Michelson, when they came on that motion, it shows it's going to be a crack back block. Dominique Malloy did not see that. She has to keep the edge. She did not. They got outside. 2 good plays for Austin.
Winfrey looking really solid early. Finally taking command of this offense, her 2nd year in this offense. She says she's really welcomed the new offensive coordinator, Mike Oliveira, making a huge difference in her game. A 2nd and 6 from the shotgun. Winfrey rolling right under heavy pressure, and that should be a backward lateral. And that is the flag. We'll take another look at this.
That should be a fumble. She's scrambling. There's nobody back there. She's trying to throw it away, but that's a fumble.
That's a fumble! That's a fumble! Out there!
There is no foul or intentional grounding because the quarterback threw the ball back.
No!
However, the ball is treated as a fumble.
That's deep!
And will be placed at the spot that the ball went out of bounds.
It's at the 6! It's at the 6! It's at the 6! It went out of bounds at the 6. Is that challengeable? It's a ball. It's a ball spot, right?
That is head coach Chris Michelson challenging the spot of that lateral. He's saying it went out at about the 6-yard line.
Challenging the spot of the ball. The spot of the ball. I'm challenging. Okay.
Chris Michelson right on here. This is a terrible play by Winfrey. She's going to get sacked. She tries to throw it away backwards, which you can't do. That is a fumble. It should be right out in the 6-yard line when the ball went out of bounds. Bad play by Winfrey.
Unfortunately, we didn't get a clear look at it. The ball did sail out of bounds. The question is, where did it go out of bounds?
Head coach Chris Michelson, one of the detailed coaches in this league. I'm with him. The ball should be on the 6-yard line. The officials right now are calling it wrong.
You can see he wants to take advantage of this opportunity from a defensive standpoint. He is really taking control of this entire franchise. A lot of people look at him as the best offensive mind in the LFL. But you could see there, he is leading that defensive huddle. He does not take an opportunity or miss an opportunity to really micromanage this team.
There's no clear visual evidence of where the ball went out of bounds other than the spot that we chose. It'll be 3rd down at the 13-yard line for Austin. Seattle is charged with 1 timeout and has lost their challenge for the first half.
So the officiating crew didn't have a look either. So when that happens, it's inconclusive. The call on the field will stand. They're going to mark this at about the 12-yard line.
That's a big break for Austin. That ball should be back inside the 10. Winfrey has the arm to get him out of the trouble. We'll see what they call.
They're going to need 25 yards here. They have a pair of downs to get that done. That is Kendria Robinson in motion, and they're going to give it to Robinson. A big-time hit on the edge with Jade Randall. We've got Randall and Robinson mic'd up. Let's listen into this collision.
That is LFL football at its best. You got to love it. What you don't got to love is Tashay Winfrey's play 2 plays ago when she threw it backward. They opened up with a great pass, a great run, moving the football, then it went backwards.
A 4th and 20. That was only a 5-yard gain by Robinson. So we're going to get to see the arm of Tashay Winfrey. And her favorite target is Cassandra Bills. This is Winfrey back to pass, now going to take off with it. An ill-advised run. There's no way you're going to pick up 25 yards. You've got to take a shot down the field.
Absolutely. As highly as we spoke about Winfrey in pregame, she made 2 big mistakes on this drive. Threw the ball backwards, and now it's 4th and 20. You got to throw the ball up. She has the Smurfs, great receivers. Give them a chance to catch the football.
That is the big knock on the second-year quarterback. Has all the physical tools of a franchise quarterback, just lacks the mental maturity, which will come over time.
Exactly. She has all the tools. She has the arm. She has the mind, but she's got to learn the game a little bit better. On 4th down and 20, she's got to know to throw the ball up and try to get to 20.
Ball at the Austin 23. All receivers flanked to the left side of Matheny. From the shotgun, KK Matheny rolling right, buying time. And here's the wheels on Matheny, knows how to do this. A good-looking scramble, cutting back in and gaining 9 yards.
A lot of people around the LFL think that is KK Matheny at her best. When she is scrambling, she creates plays. She knows when to run, and when she runs, she makes moves like this. Boom! Inside, you think she's done. Boom! She comes back inside. What a game, what a play by Matheny.
Never question her heart. You may question her size, but she plays like a 6-foot quarterback, not afraid of contact. And you could see some quarterbacks we've seen. We even saw Ashley Salerno last week take multiple quarterback slides, not KK Matheny.
Well, Matheny knows how to get down. She doesn't take big hits.
A quick bubble screen to Jade Randall. That'll be a gain of 5 yards and good enough for a Seattle first down. Make that a 1st and goal at the Austin 9.
You gotta love the way KK Matheny spreads the wealth, gets the ball to her top players. First it was Malloy, now you get it to Jade Randall, last year's league MVP, and let them do the work.
That is not a good sight if you're an Austin fan. Michelle Marshall, part of the Smurfs that we talked about earlier. We'll get another look at this injury. That's Marshall coming in late. Looked like Robinson was on the tackle, and maybe Marshall got her foot caught under that.
That's exactly what happened. She was making a tackle, her foot got caught on the turf as the pile came back on top of her. That's not a good thing for Austin.
Marshall was already doubtful coming into this game on concussion protocol, now has a lower body injury, and just rack him up. It is a mash unit for Austin right now.
They've had the injury bug all year long. They were down to their 3rd center, Michelle Marshall, not supposed to play now. She's out, but they always come back fighting. I love that.
1st and goal, ball at the Austin 9. Stevie Schnorr flanked to the right side of Matheny. Looking to set up Schnorr in the flat, buying time and does that. That is a 4-yard reception. That is what you talked about earlier. Matheny buys a lot of time in the pocket with her legs.
And she moves in the pocket. She doesn't move toward the defensive line. If they're coming from the left, she moves to the right. She has good feet in the pocket, creates time for Schnorr to get open, and then throw a strike. The only place that Schnorr can catch it, and they get the first down.
But you saw she was not eyeing Schnorr the whole time. She did look into the end zone. That's what 7 years of experience gives you versus Tashay Winfrey, who still is yet to develop. KK Matheny is truly in the prime of her career.
She has fast eyes. She comes down and she goes down the food chain to find receivers.
That is a toss left, Stevie Schnorr. And you wonder why they call her the Bull. Schnorr carried 3 Austin defenders into the end zone.
The Bull makes her own interference. Sometimes she does not need blocking. She does it all on her own. She gets 1 crackback block, but then the rest is all Stevie Schnorr powering into the end zone.
We gave you a look there at Jade Randall, the receiver, making an outstanding crackback block to open up that lane for Stevie Schnorr.
That's what got her outside. Then it was all Stevie Schnorr to get in the end zone. Chris Michelson's got to be really happy with his running game thus far.
Seattle continuing to go for 2-point conversions here. Ball at the 3-yard line. Matheny rolling right, throwing into the end zone. And connecting with Jade Randall. Seattle now leading it 14-0.
Great play by Matheny. She attacked the line of scrimmage, which made the safeties came up, opened Randall in the corner. Great play.
That'll bring us to the end of the first quarter. The hometown Seattle missed up 14-0. Back to Seattle, Washington on a beautiful night. Mitch Mortaza and Bobby Huco on the call. A game that Seattle leads now 14-0.
This is a big series for Shea Winfrey. They have to score points now. They have an offense that can score at any time, but you can't go down 3 scores to Seattle, then it becomes a blowout.
They certainly have the vertical passing game here in Austin, and plenty of time remaining in this game. Winfrey rolling right, throwing down the field, just sidearming it, and connecting. That is Cassandra Bills. How many times have we seen those two connect down the field?
That combination is lightning in a bottle. The funny thing is, I'm not sure she was throwing the Bills. She had a wheel route down the back sideline that was wide open, and Bills came out of nowhere, stole it for a touchdown. That shows you the kind of speed she has.
Cassandra Bills coming into tonight was the #2 receiver in the league, only behind Lauren Ziegler of Atlanta.
Head coach Chris Michelson is beside himself right now. He told me in the pregame he was going to stop that deep threat with Bills. Winfrey's arm, you can tell, is the best in the league. She was on the far right side of the field, threw across her body down the field, and got on top of the coverage with the Bills.
A 1-point attempt by the Austin offense. That is a toss right to Leilani Lopez. Lopez simply does not have the size, and Jade Randall stops her.
That shows you the explosiveness we talked about with this Austin offense. Mike Oliveira knows where the talent is. He knows he can get Bills deep, and he just did it. Michelson can't believe it.
Well, that's been the Achilles heel of Seattle's defense, has been protection against the deep ball. Their safety, Jessica Hopkins, has really struggled in that role. LaShonda Fowler at the corner position, Melee Gilmore. They have just not had a good back end of that defense.
And to top things off, they lost Fowler. She's out for the game and maybe the season. And the new cornerback back there, Kiara Williams, right there, got burnt.
A 1st and 10 from the Seattle 15. That looked like the right side of Seattle may have jumped. This could be the 3rd false start penalty on Seattle.
False start, Seattle, #2. That's a 5-yard penalty. It's still 1st down.
They got Stevie Schnorr again. That is the 2nd false start on the Canadian.
Chris Michelson, again, is so upset right now. This is the final game before the playoffs. He needs his offense not to make mistakes like that. This is rookie mistakes that Schnorr's making.
Ball remains at the 15. This offense has already posted 14 points, but has looked sloppy at times. That is a reverse to Dominique Malloy, the speedster. Malloy posts 5 yards. That is a great backfield. We've talked about it all season with Schnorr and Malloy.
1-2 combination with that speed, and speed kills in any league. Bring her on jet motion where she gets a head start. There's no way to contain her.
Malloy did gain 5 yards, setting up a 2nd and 10 ball at the 15 of Seattle. Matheny back to pass, rolling right. Nothing happening, and just tosses it into the stands. That'll set up a 3rd and 10.
That's a veteran quarterback move. It's tough to sack KK Matheny. Austin came with a safety blitz. There's no way with her speed she's going to get caught. There was nobody open. She threw it out of bounds, tee it up again.
The Seattle offense in a hurry-up mode right now. That's the crossbuck handoff to Stevie Schnorr. Schnorr very consistent in the first half thus far, gaining 7 yards.
Great big on big blocking up front. Again, Jade Randall, Shade Norton, and Nicole Peterson blowing out the defensive line of Austin.
The Seattle offense facing another 4th down here. And really, this offense is built for short yardage schemes.
It is so hard to bring down Stevie Schnorr inside of a 5-yard gain. It's almost automatic.
A 4th and 3 handoff, and they go to the bull. And I'm not sure she got there. They're going to go ahead and give her the 1st down, but I would mark this or maybe challenge the spot if I'm Austin.
Good idea. I don't think they're going to do it. It looked to me like she got it, but again, great blocking by Nicole Peterson. They went right over the center, and Schnoor got the yardage.
Nonetheless, a first down for this Seattle offense as they continue to move down the field. Again, this is the #1 ranked offense. Good balance, especially with Jade Randall now coming into her own in the passing game. This time an empty back set. All three receivers to the right side of Matheny. Now KK Matheny directing traffic and going into the end zone. That was intended for Dominique Malloy. Great coverage by Michelle Marshall.
This was not in Chris Michelson's game plan. He knew they were going to cover the deep ball. He wanted KK Matheny to keep it underneath to open up the big ball. She had all kinds of time, threw it deep, almost picked off.
That incompletion of Dominique Malloy now setting up a 2nd and 10.
Why are you throwing that deep route when they're already sitting on it?
It sounds like Chris Michelson shares in your sentiment, Bobby Huco. That's a handoff to Stevie Schnoor, breaking through arm tackles and just barely hanging on to the bull by her shorts. A gain of 15 yards.
Wow, if Carmen Bourseau of Los Angeles is the F-150, Stevie Schnoor is the F-350. She is so powerful, they cannot bring her down.
It's that lower body strength. Don't get me wrong, she's strong up top, but those legs are like tree stumps, and when they get going, she's very tough to get down.
You are right, the best backs have big lower bodies like Marshawn Lynch. Big legs, they power through this defense.
Matheny back to pass, evading the rush and finding Stevie Schnoor for another touchdown.
Wow, a Tim Tebow jump pass. What a route, though, by Stevie Schnoor. It was a read route. She was one-on-one with Anna Garza. She has the option to either come inside or curl up. She curled up wide open, and KK Matheny found her.
Stevie Schnoor does not get a lot of credit in the passing game. Has become the top option for KK Matheny out of the backfield.
That just shows you what kind of talent KK Matheny has in her backfield. She has Malloy with great hands and Stevie Schnoor, the power back with velvet hands also. She can go to either one.
Seattle now lining up for the 2-point conversion. A good-looking 7-play, 35-yard drive. Matheny now rolling left, expected Malloy. A bit of miscommunication in the backfield. Our score will remain 20-6 as Tashay Winfrey and Austin take over. In fact, we sat down with Winfrey.
Well, I know that people like KK and Dakota and Ashley, you know, they all have playoffs under their belts. They have some championships too. I mean, once I get there, then I know for a fact that I'll be elite. But until then, I'm going to try my best to work harder and harder and get better and better each year that I'm here.
You gotta love her attitude. Right now, the #1 rated quarterback in the LFL.
And much like Matheny, the big stat line there, no interceptions throughout the 2017 season. That's pretty big for a second-year quarterback. Now Winfrey under pressure, completing it underneath. That is complete to Leilani Lopez. We do have a flag.
That's the beauty of having a dangerous offense like this where you have Cassandra Bills going deep. It opens up Lopez underneath. They don't know who to cover.
This will be interesting if the flag is on Austin. As we've seen, Seattle's had a tough time with penalties here in the first half. If the play stands, that'll be a 13-yard completion. We'll get the official word here from Jeff Sidoris.
Prior to the pass being caught while the ball was in the air. Holding, defense. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. Automatic first down.
They did not indicate who the penalty was on, but it is on Seattle. Austin has elected to decline it. That'll be a 1st and 10 from the 20.
Defensive coordinator David Price cannot be happy with his secondary tonight. Winfrey's completed deep balls, now throwing underneath. They haven't stopped her once.
Here comes that Seattle crowd. This time Winfrey calling her own number and using that big body to gain 3 yards. We talked about her size and her willingness to use it in the run game.
Straight read option. She saw the defensive end go out. She tucked it under, made a solid gain of 3 yards.
We will see if that Winfrey run will stand. as Seattle has had the majority of the penalties fall on their side. Let's get the official word.
During the run, holding Austin, number 2. That's a 5-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Replay, first down.
Austin's backed up. Let's meet their starters.
Michelle Marshall, running back. Leilani Lopez, receiver.
Cassandra Bills, wide receiver.
Kristen Beckman, tight end. Chastity Morales, tight end. Brandy Solti, your center. Tashay Winfrey, quarterback.
You gotta love the Smurfs. Winfrey's 3 receivers, Michelle Marshall, Leilani Lopez, and of course, Cassandra Bills.
Forget about the Smurfs, get a block. That is Stevie Schnorr blowing through the front line of Austin as we have a media timeout. Seattle up 20-6.
You guys in cover 2, you gotta know you got that shit coming across. Don't get sucked in, it's a cover 2. Safety's gotta drop the fuck back.
That is Chris Michelson as we welcome you back to LFL football night, preparing his secondary for this offensive attack for Austin.
Well, they're so dangerous with Bills going over the top, and that's what he prepared for all week, and the safeties aren't doing it.
Winfrey dropping back, this time rolling left, throwing down the field, and nearly completing to Kristen Beckman. A great defensive breakup by Kiera Williams.
Williams broke on the ball, but again, the receivers for Austin got deep. Beckman, they expected a lot from her this year. We haven't really seen it, but she got behind coverage, a little deeper pass. That might have been 6.
We really haven't seen a lot of great corner play this season. It's great to see a rookie like Kiera Williams coming on the way she has, especially with the loss of LaShonda Fowler.
Well, that's it. Chris Michelson's got to love that right there. The way she closed on the ball, she was beat, but once the ball was in the air, her closing time was outstanding.
A 3rd and 11. Austin really not looking to run the ball. Again down the field to Bills. And that went through the hands of Bills. Melee Gilmore in coverage.
Again, they got over the top. A good pass, great route by Bills. We've seen her make this kind of catch over the shoulder. That should have been 6 for Austin.
That went right through the hands of Bills. When you see that, you see the logic of why Austin is testing down the field. But don't you have to show some patience and moving it steadily down the field, not always going for the home run ball?
Well, that's the problem. When you have home run hitters, you want to take the big hit every time and not drive down the field, throw it underneath. They know Bills can go deep, so they keep throwing deep.
4th and 11. A great defensive play by Jade Randall. And Seattle again with great field position.
All year long, Jade Randall is just showing it on the defensive side. We know she's a great receiver, but that play right there got the ball back.
We've got a Seattle timeout as we listen into their huddle.
You guys have got to block. They are fucking coming in there like nobody's business.
You got to love the perfectionist and Chris Michelson. Despite a score of 20-6, he's still beating up that offense.
Austin, they have to make big plays in big games. If they scored that touchdown, they're only down 1 score. Now it's 20-6, and Seattle's got the ball going in again.
Look at Matheny just pushing her center down the field. KK Matheny doing some damage on the ground in the first half. That was a gain of 6 yards.
You want your running backs to hug the offensive lineman finding holes. Matheny literally does that. Watch her push on Peterson making a block. But it's interesting, they call, that looks like a hair pull right there, which is legal. You're allowed to pull the hair if it's there, but they called a penalty. Wow.
Yeah, from our perspective, that was pretty clear. Nobody got inside the helmet. That was directly by the hair of Matheny.
She didn't actually grab the face mask, but she did illegally grab the back of the helmet. That penalty would be half the distance to the goal and results in an automatic first down.
That is a horrible call. Cassandra Bills should be a little more upset there. She had a hold of Matheny's hair. I don't think she ever got inside the helmet.
I think the official saw her go high, thinking that they hit her in the helmet, but she pulled the hair, which is legal. If you have long hair, that's what you get for having long hair. Legal play, but they called it against Austin.
You're just envious because we're both losing our hair, Bob Bucco. A 1st and goal ball at the 6. That is Schnorr in motion. It looked like Seattle may have jumped. Now Matheny throwing into the back of the end zone. And Schnorr contending she caught it. They're going to call that an incomplete pass. Let's get another look at this. It looked like it may have hit the ground just at the end there. That is a good call down in the back of the end zone.
Not a great throw by KK Matheny. I'm not even sure how the ball got there. It went through the arms of 2 Austin players before it bounced off the ground.
That'll take us to the 2-minute warning. Back to Seattle for LFL football night. Let's go down to the field.
It's all live.
No, not on passes.
The wall is live.
Wall is not.
It hit the ground first? Okay. Then
Wall's not live on passes.
Yes, it
Fumbles, kicks, yeah.
It's live on passes. 100%. I'm 100%. I've done it a million times.
Chris Michelson is right on. The ball can hit the wall and come back as a completion, but the other official said it hit the ground, which ended the play.
A 2nd and goal here for the Seattle offense. A dribbler back to Matheny and handing it off to Malloy. Malloy getting into the end zone. So Seattle recovering after that drop ball in the end zone and now taking a 26-6 lead.
What poise by Matheny. The bad snap, she picked it up, gave it to Malloy underneath, and that Austin defense, they looked like houses on the side of the road. They didn't know what happened. Everybody was standing still, and Malloy blew right by him.
Seattle now lining up for the extra point attempt. They've not had a lot of luck at this, with the exception of the connection with Randall in the first quarter. We'll see if Seattle can sharpen this up a bit.
I know Coach Michelson likes to mix it up with play action, which I love, but again, you got Stevie Schnorr in the backfield trying to get 1 or 2 yards or 3 yards.
That will not be an option here, as we've got an empty back set. Receivers flanked to the right side of Matheny. Now Matheny rolling right, throwing into the end zone. And that is dropped again, this time by Dominique Malloy.
You gotta hit it quicker! God damn it! She was open on the break. You are waiting way too long. You're giving her no fucking room.
Coach Michelson is right on a quick hitting play, a back shoulder like that. It's a bam, bam play. You got to throw it before she breaks. She was open, should have been points.
1st and 10, ball at the Austin 15. Receivers flanked to each side of Tashay Winfrey. We've got under 2 minutes remaining, and Austin's out of timeouts. That is a quick completion to Cassandra Bills in the flat. Bills looking good for yards after the catch. That'll be good for 13.
That's the beauty of being one of the fastest receivers in the LFL. They play so far off of you, they throw a hitch pattern underneath, and they still get 13 yards.
That was good enough for a 1st and 10. The clock is running under 1:30 remaining in the first half. Winfrey starting to find a rhythm here with these receivers. Dropping back to pass, throwing over the middle. That was nearly intercepted. Jessica Hopkins with a great break on the ball.
She's been a great defensive back her whole career. The ball was thrown late by Winfrey, hence Hopkins had a chance to came over and break it up.
And that's an opportunity to get your receiver hurt as well. She kind of hung that ball. Hopkins not knowing for being a great hitter, but good hands. That could have been a Seattle interception. Austin lives to fight another play here. 2nd and 10. Winfrey going to take off with it and driven into the ground. Danielle Hawkins.
We spoke about Hawkins in pregame. She is having a career year, and she laid out Winfrey. This is not good for Austin. Watch this. We talk about Winfrey running the ball. She's a big quarterback like Cam Newton, but she gets smashed to the ground right there. That is not good.
That looked like she may have landed on her elbow.
They're going to bring this new quarterback in, and she likes to fucking run, okay? But don't underestimate her arm either, guys. But we can tighten up a little bit on coverage now, all right? Just don't be stupid and let one get by you for an easy toss. But guys up front, you're going to have to lock it down because this one likes to run even more than Winfrey, okay? And she's a little shiftier and quicker, all right? So be ready.
Chris Michelson advising his defense on Anna Garza, who we saw warming up. And that's not a shot you want to see if you're an Austin fan. That is your franchise quarterback. And the way she's holding that right arm, I would not expect her back in this game.
That's the hazard of running your quarterback. Her shoulder got jammed into the turf. Hawkins destroyed her, bam, put all her weight, went right on her shoulder. That does not look good for Austin. It's all on Garza right now.
Anna Garza, a very capable backup. We've seen her in certain stints with Winfrey going down. From Carterita, Mexico. Comes in on a 3rd and 6 and finds Lopez. Lopez dropping what would have been a sure first down.
Wow, that's a focus drop by Lopez. Anna Garza, she's exciting. We watched her a couple times this year. She can throw it. She gets the team together. She can run it. She's an exciting quarterback.
Garza coming into the Lions' den with this Seattle crowd in a 4th and 6. This is Garza going to take off with it and only able to get back to the line of scrimmage. Seattle will take over on downs with under a minute and a timeout.
Not a great read by Garza. 4th and 6. Yeah, I know she can run, but she's got to throw it in that situation. Didn't even come close to getting the first down.
The 5'2" quarterback KK Matheny has great field position at the Seattle 18. A timeout and 54 seconds.
If you take away those penalties that the Seattle offense had, it's been a pretty solid first half for KK Matheny and the rest of these players.
This Austin defense has surprised people at times. The secondary's been very inconsistent, so certainly Matheny and company can test it down the field. 1st and 10 at the Seattle 18. Matheny directing some traffic. Now an empty back set. A deep drop for Matheny. Over the middle, completing to Dominique Malloy. That was a 6-yard completion as the clock continues to run. Seattle does have a timeout, not electing to call it here.
Smart audible by KK Matheny. Got Malloy one-on-one coverage, threw the ball, got 6 yards.
A 2nd and 4 handoff. Stevie Schnorr, a great outside block. Now cutting it back to the inside. Look at the bull do work and does manage to get out of bounds. That'll stop the clock at 21 seconds.
Stevie Schnorr running like she stole something. Look at that outside speed. Nobody can catch her one-on-one. Don't even try to tackle her. She bounces inside with a jump cut. That is all fantasy right there. Wow.
How about the effort of Kendria Robinson? Robinson was the only thing in between Stevie Schnorr and another 6 points.
You gotta love the hustle of Kendria Robinson. She missed Stevie Schnorr once, came back, jumped on her back, and brought her down. Big game for Seattle, but Kendria Robinson never gives up.
That was a 24-yard carry by Schnorr. Now they're gonna try Malloy. A great open field tackle by Kendria Robinson. Is there any doubt why Robinson should not be at least the nominee for Defensive Player of the Year? She's flying all over the place.
That was a textbook one-on-one tackle against the fastest running back in the league. She stood her ground and got her down.
A 2nd and goal toss. That was way too easy. Touchdown, Seattle.
You got to wonder on those extra points, why they don't go to Stevie Schnorr inside the 5-yard line. You just can't bring her down, even with the whole team.
That is a little perplexing. When you've got a power back like this in Schnorr, you could see Robinson just whiffing after we talked her up. Schnorr did get in. That'll extend Seattle's lead to 32-6.
Stevie Schnorr weighs almost 170. Robinson weighs 130. That's not a good matchup, but Robinson does not give up.
The extra point attempt, which has been a weak point of this offense. We'll see if Seattle can go into the half feeling good about itself. Already up 32-6. A toss left play. And that was an aggressive run. Number 17, who we've yet to see, Savannah Wood.
Savannah Wood from Covington, Washington, absolute beast as a rookie, just ran through the defense.
You want to talk about a size mismatch. Look at the guns on her. I'm telling you, she's bigger than both of us combined, Bob.
Wow.
195 pounds, and all of that is muscle.
I'm speechless right now. I've never seen anyone look like that in the LFL.
A very unique look. Seattle definitely has a lot of size when you think of Stevie Schnorr, Danielle Hawkins, Jade Randall. That should bode well for him in the playoffs and beyond. But we still have another 7 seconds to play here. That is Anna Garza back to pass down the field. And that was just a center field play by Jade Randall. Seattle already leading the league in interceptions. And a great stop here to bring the half to an end.
Throwing toward Randall is the no-fly zone for quarterbacks. There's not a chance that Randall's not going to at least knock that down, but she picks it off.
And we haven't even talked about Michelle Angel not dressing for this game. That is a pair of impressive additions to this Seattle defense.
They have 3, if I'm not mistaken, in the top leaders in interceptions in the league.
Absolutely. Angel leading the league with 4 interceptions. There should be an asterisk next to that. They have played 2 games against the Denver Dream. So you kind of grade that on the curve.
Well, that's right. That's like in college football when you open up against a directional school. You have big numbers, but still they get to the ball.
Appalachian Institute of Car Repair. That was the first matchup with the Florida Gators, if I understand.
Hey, a win's a win.
A 1st and 10. Seattle has one more shot at the end zone. And let's see what kind of arm Matheny has. That sails well out of bounds. It does not matter as Seattle, impressively, with their home finale, and that young lady, Jessica Hopkins, last game, impressing their fans with a 34-6 halftime lead. And we will be back with halftime in Seattle, Washington.
Every time we fucking turn around.
I don't want to hear yelling. That's all I got.
That's what we saying right now. Right now. All that shit's been fucking us up all fucking season.
That's right. Either you gonna motivate us or you're not gonna say shit at all.
Exactly. We fucking losing. Now let's come back out and let's fucking win.
A tense Austin Acoustic locker room as we welcome you back to LFL football night. Mitch Mortaza and Bobby Huco. Bobby, this Austin team now trails at 34-6. A team that we talked about being cohesive, being together, being dangerous coming into this game. Those wheels are starting to fall apart, and this team is a mess inside that locker room.
They are right now. Either the head coach or some veteran players have to stand up and keep them together. Yes, they lost their quarterback. Tashay Winfrey's out with that shoulder injury, but they have a solid backup in Garza. This team has to rally around her. She can throw. They missed some opportunities down the field, but they need to rally around her here in the second half.
A team that doesn't have to worry about that, the Seattle Mist, are looking like a prime team ready for a Legends Cup run. And who's leading the way? The usual suspects, Jade Randall and Stevie Schnorr, having amazing first half of play. This team is really gelling and coming together at just the right time.
You mentioned Stevie Schnorr. In my eyes, the #1 power back in the LFL. You might make an argument for LA's Carmen Bourseau, but if you look at the numbers, nobody tops Stevie Schnorr.
Schnorr did account for 3 of the Seattle scores in the first half. Let's look at all of them. First one was from 5 yards out, Schnorr taking it in, following that up with a 1-yard TD run, and then an 8-yard reception from KK Matheny. Her backfield counterpart, Dominique Malloy, added a pair of scores as well from 15 and 6 yards out. Austin's sole score coming when Tashay Winfrey connected with Cassandra Bills on a 35-yard reception. That leads us to our halftime score of 34-6 as we look at the first half stats.
I know that Austin offense is banged up. Michelle Marshall's out. Center Stolte is hurt with a broken arm. Quarterback Winfrey is out, but they have to rally in the second half. They only had 2 yards rushing in the first half. And for Seattle, they had an impressive 129 yards rushing with 87 coming from Stevie Schnorr.
As the teams head to the field for the final 20 minutes of play, we get you ready. The second half kickoff is next. Back with LFL football night as we look at our 2 starting quarterbacks.
KK Matheny, solid numbers, 6 out of 11, 30 yards, 1 touchdown. Tashay Winfrey, 3 out of 7, doesn't look that good, but a couple drops, 1 touchdown also.
Neither quarterback lighting up the scoreboard in the passing game, but the most important note, neither has thrown an interception all season, and that streak continues. A poor opening kickoff by Kiara Williams, fielded in the open field by Michelle Marshall, so good opening possession, at least for field position for Austin.
Austin has to rally around their backup quarterback. Tashay Winfrey definitely out the rest of the game. Garza is an adequate backup, doesn't have a gun, like Winfrey, but she can throw it underneath okay. She needs help, though. Her teammates have to help her.
Garza went 0 of 2 and did throw a pick to Randall, but she had a couple opportunities for drops there. Leilani Lopez did not deliver for her. With a young quarterback in a hostile environment, you've got to come up with those catches.
Absolutely, and she has skills. She was the highest rated quarterback coming out of Mexico, so she can play.
Anna Garza handing it off to Leilani Lopez. Lopez looking impressive, driving those legs. A 4-yard carry. So perhaps Austin is going to try to establish a run game to take the pressure off Anna Garza.
That's absolutely what they're doing right now. They're relying on that offensive line of Stolte, Morales, and Beckman to open up some holes, work the running game, and then the short passing game on top of that.
The Austin offense has had a really tough time consistently moving the ball down the field, with the exception of Winfrey finding Bills in that first half. They haven't spent a lot of time on that Seattle side of the ball. That's going to change here. That is Kendria Robinson. A good-looking 15-yard carry.
I love that move by the head ball coach, Mike Oliveira. Put Robinson in the backfield. She is so quick and fast. See how quick she hit the hell. Boom. Got through it. That's what they need, a spark like that, a catalyst.
Robinson is also very physical, especially when you consider her size. They've had Michelle Marshall in the backfield most of the season. Marshall lacks some of that physicality that Robinson possesses.
I like that combination of Robinson and Marshall. Wow, that's a 1-2 combination for next year.
A 1st and goal. An ugly-looking toss play to Robinson, and Katie Whelan, the military vet, all over that play. However, they are going to give Robinson 4 yards on that carry.
You got to expect that. Garza not expecting to play quarterback. Little miscommunication with Robinson. You got her the ball, but not a big gain.
That'll set up a 2nd and goal. A good-looking way for this Austin offense to start the second half, especially with their backup quarterback.
Absolutely. The way Robinson's running the ball, she is so quick. I do that all night long.
2nd and goal, ball backed up to the 11-yard line. This time Garza faking it, trying to buy time. Rolling left, ugly-looking duck. She just does not have the arm that Winfrey has. She cannot throw across her body.
Not at all. In fact, I think she was trying to throw that ball away. She should have threw it up in the crowd, but she threw it back. That was lucky it wasn't intercepted.
Garza not really trained at the position. You mentioned that she did get some time down in Mexico, but obviously the game is not quite that developed there just yet.
She needs time. All week long in practice, it's been Tashay Winfrey. She didn't get many reps at all, so she's coming in here raw and trying to make things happen.
Garza proudly representing Mexico on a 3rd and goal here. Tossed left. That goes to Kendria Robinson. That is the only time this offense has had success. That'll set up a 4th and goal.
I really like Robinson at running back for next year. She read the block, she followed the block, made some yardage. Look rock solid back there.
We've got a timeout. Let's listen in with Chris Michelson.
Listen up! Shut the fuck up! Listen, corners, when they motion and there's 2 in the backfield, you have to fucking get the edge. Don't drop back and wait. You're shooting. It's an automatic shoot. If someone comes out the backfield, you got it. If your girl Kraken goes for a route, who has her? Safety, right? You ain't got to worry about it. There's 2 girls in the backfield. You guys, you got to get the edge on that. Do not sleep on that. I know we talked about picking her up in a motion, but that's when it's an empty backfield. If there's 2 in the backfield, you have to get the edge.
Chris Michelson is back in action. You can tell the playoffs are getting close. He is fired up about his defense and not happy at all. Austin has not won a game, but he is dead right about the cornerbacks. They're not sealing the edge on that 2-back set.
Now a 4th and goal for Anna Garza in the Austin offense. A dribbler back to Garza, poor snap, and now just chucking it at the feet of Cassandra Bills. So this Seattle defense holds.
Bad snap up front, but Garza's got to step up in the pocket and throw. Look at her go back and back and back and back. You can't make plays that way. If you step toward the line of scrimmage, stay in the pocket, climb the ladder.
To her credit, that pocket was collapsing all around her. And she can't go to the size excuse because look at number 15. Matheny having the most poise of any quarterback in the pocket that I've seen in 2017, hence no interceptions.
They're both 5'2". That's amazing. KK Matheny is a proven veteran, though. She knows how to find space in the pocket, throw through lanes, throw through linemen, and make things happen.
Ball at the 6-yard line. This is the worst starting spot for this offense. And that's Stevie Schnorr going sideways, limited to 2 yards on the carry.
That's the best play of the night for that front line of Austin. Allie Dudley and Nicole Stoffel blocking things up for Stevie Schnorr. She had to bounce it outside because there was nothing there.
Anytime you can keep the bull from going north-south, you're going to have a better chance at getting her down. Obviously, we talked about this Austin defense is outsized by the front line of Seattle.
The best defensive scheme against Seattle is to control the A gaps. You stop Stevie Schnorr and you got a chance.
A 2nd and 8, ball at the 8-yard line. That is Matheny completing it in the flat to Schnorr. And Schnorr working those legs, gaining 17 yards on the reception.
KK Matheny finally doing what Coach Michelson wants her to do. Throw the ball quick. Play action, bam, get it outside to Schnorr, and she got positive yardage.
That'll bring the ball out to midfield. That was a perfect opportunity for this Austin defense to make a stand and get the ball back to their offense.
Absolutely. If you throw in a couple breaks for Austin, they could be in this game. Bills' touchdown pass she dropped. Beckman, the ball wasn't far enough. Drop passes all night long. That's why it's 34-6.
1st and 10 for the Seattle offense. Schnorr in the backfield. Matheny looking to set up Schnorr over the middle. And that is the poorest pass we've seen from Matheny, throwing behind Schnorr.
She almost had too much time in the pocket. When Stevie Schnorr gets ahead of steam coming across the field, you have to lean her because she is unstoppable. You throw it behind her, she has to stop.
We do have a penalty here.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, Austin number 5. That's a 10-yard penalty and an automatic first down.
The personal foul on Allie Dudley. That is a big call. That'll set up 1st and 10 at the Austin 15.
Allie Dudley totally frustrated because she couldn't generate a pass rush on KK Matheny, so she threw a punch like that. That's uncalled for.
That is a look at Mike Oliveira, the first-year head coach of Austin, and he's really been taken to the woodshed this year. A lot of challenges, one of the tougher schedules in the league.
Even though they're 0-3, head coach Mike Oliveira is one of the top coaches in the LFL. He really keeps this team in every game. Yeah, they're getting beat tonight big, but they play football and they're getting better and better every week.
That's Dominique Malloy on an 8-yard carry. Getting back to Mike Oliveira, absolutely. If nothing else, he's put a great product on the field. When you look at some of the other first-year head coaches, Joe DeBerry in Pittsburgh had a moderately successful season. Carlos Bates in Denver, that was an absolute disaster. Most expecting him to be fired the Monday after the season. Certainly, Mike Oliveira's done a far better job.
Absolutely. With Shea Winfrey, the #1 passer in the league, they're arguably the most dangerous offense in the LFL. They can score at any time, anywhere on the field.
A 4-yard carry by Schnorr. That'll set up a 1st and goal. You could see the frustration with Kendria Robinson. Robinson, one of the bigger competitors in the game, and she's got to be hating this score. We really thought Austin would be more competitive than this.
It's tough for a player like Kendria Robinson, who's having an outstanding year, maybe the best defensive player in the Western Conference, but she doesn't get recognized because of their record.
Kendria Robinson in the running for Defensive Player of the Year, most likely, alongside Seattle's Danielle Hawkins, and making an argument even for Jade Randall. This is another toss play to Savannah Wood. And how about the first-time appearance and LFL debut for 195-pound pack of muscle, Savannah Woods.
Wow, look at that body. I don't even think LA's Agam Chindu would go face-to-face with Wood. She is a beast of all beasts.
She is one of the more physical runners you will see. Austin at this point just does not have the size. We've talked about it all season. And that's one of the curriculum that head coach Mike Oliveira said that he's going to work on. They're in Texas. We certainly know they make them big in Texas. He's got to find some physical players up front this offseason.
You mentioned some of those rookie coaches that didn't do so well this year. Chris Michelson, even though his team is stacked with the top talent you can find, he never stops recruiting. Look, he brought in Savannah Wood. Who is Savannah Wood and where'd she come from?
Austin, number 5. Half the distance to the goal. Replay the try.
That is the second unsportsmanlike roughing the passer on Allie Dudley. She's got to stay off the quarterback. That gives life for this offense. The previous play, the pass was intended to Shea Norton, a dart from KK Matheny. Falling incomplete, but Seattle will get another shot at it. This time the Bull in the backfield. That's where it's going to go. Toss left. Those two have danced all night. Kendria Robinson and Stevie Schnorr. This time the Bull winning it.
The Bull is absolutely unstoppable inside the 5-yard line. And on Austin, I think there's a lot of frustration in. Allie Dudley, all those penalties, I think that finally set in. They're going to be 0-4. They're not happy, so they're starting to do personal fouls.
That's KK Matheny looking like she's ready for the playoffs. We'll talk about it more in the fourth quarter, but that's going to be one heck of a matchup in the Western Conference Championship when you think of KK Matheny versus an Ashley Salerno. And then that young lady, you know, that is the future of the league. A strong arm, really developed her game this offseason. She could easily become one of those top 3 elite quarterbacks within the next couple seasons.
We talk about it every week. Do you run your quarterback? And if you do, get her down after she gets yardage, like we saw last week with LA's Ashley Salerno. She would get yardage and then slide. Tonight, Tashay Winfrey didn't slide, and she is out.
That was a 1st and 10 carry by Michelle Marshall. We've seen Michelle Marshall fight through injuries this season. In fact, was injured earlier this game. She's just another one of those competitors. Austin has definitely honed in on the formula of getting young, feisty players. Now if they can get some size, I think this will be a complete team. This is Garza taking a shot down the field. That pass behind Kristen Beckman. And that was Christine Cortez in coverage.
If Tashay Winfrey is in the game, that's a touchdown. She had her beat. Beckman was on top running a post pattern. Anna Garza just threw it behind, and Beckman made no adjustment. She didn't stop and come back and jump and get it to high point. Incompletion.
Christine Cortez, another one of those rookies alongside Kiera Williams. That Seattle, because they've been ahead so many times playing the Denvers of the world, they've gotten a lot of PT.
A lot of playing time, needed playing time, but tonight it's about the starters. They're getting the playing time, working together to get ready for the playoffs.
That's Marshall, and she may have lost the ball. That is it, Seattle taking over. So everything going right for Seattle.
Michelle Marshall, we know she's playing injured, but she's in the game. Just lost the football, didn't protect it, ball back to Seattle.
Nothing going right for Mike Oliveira in this Austin offense. And you can see he's debating a challenge there. Electing not to challenge that. At this point, 42-6. I agree.
You can see the frustration on head coach Mike Oliveira's face. He came into this game thinking he was going to beat Seattle, and they're getting crushed right now.
A 1st and 10 for this Seattle offense. Ball already on the Austin side of the field. KK Matheny remaining in the shotgun, looking to the right side and lofting it over the defense, nearly connecting with Jade Randall.
That's why KK Matheny is still in the ball game, even though it's a blowout. She's not connecting on her deep passes right now. Get the ball up to Randall, and that's a touchdown. Threw it way in front of her, should have been 6 for Seattle.
That's something that brings up an interesting point. Michelle Angel, who played with Jade Randall last year in Dallas, has that chemistry. We've seen it play out here in Seattle. But KK Matheny and Jade Randall cannot get on the same page.
All year long, we've been saying it. Going to the playoffs, they have to get on the same page. Michelle Angel, it seems when she gets in the game, boom, they mesh, it's dynamite, bam. But KK Matheny, for some reason, can't find Randall.
Well, if you can't get it done through the air, hand it off to Jade Randall, 20-yard gain. Randall showing that athleticism.
She reminds me so much of Lauren Ziegler in Atlanta. Anything she does on offense, she can run the ball, she can throw it, she can catch it. On defense, just outstanding. Two of the top players in the LFL.
Randall only in her second year. We've seen the retirement of the likes of Monique Gaxiola, Danica Brace, now Jessica Hopkins coming up. The sport has a bright future with the likes of Jade Randall, Tashay Winfrey. They are going to be the next generation, and Randall definitely following through on that.
Just fun to watch her play OMG football.
That'll be the end of the third quarter. Seattle up big.
LFL Mobile, giving you access to the gridiron goddesses of the LFL with exclusive photos, videos, live game reporting, and fan promotions. LFL Mobile. Download on your Android or iPhone.
It's fourth quarter, okay? This is our last quarter for the season. You know what that means? Play your fucking hearts out. That's it. Hey, let's play to the goddamn ball.
That is Mike Oliveira trying to pump up this Austin Acoustic team that is currently trailing 42-6.
He made a great point. This is the last quarter of football for this team this year. Why not go out with a bang?
Austin does not strike me as the type of team that would roll over. We'll see if they step up here in the fourth quarter. A 1st and 10 for the Seattle offense. Matheny back to pass, rolling left into the end zone. If Randall was 8 feet tall, she would not have caught that. An ugly pass from Matheny.
That is exactly what we're talking about. An easy pass, an out route by Randall, easy throw, and it wasn't even close.
A 2nd and goal now. This is just the scrimmage now for this Seattle offense. How many reps can they get in between now and the final 9 minutes of this game? Because the next time they're on the field, they're going to be facing the big, bad, silver and black Los Angeles Temptation.
That's why you keep the starters in. They have to gel. They have to feel good going into the playoffs.
They're not going to feel good about this. That is a false start on Seattle. I believe that's the 5th false start of this game.
Jesus fucking Christ.
I hate to say it, but Seattle does not look sharp right now. Yeah, they're up 42-6, but they're making a lot of mental mistakes.
To your point, that's why you were seeing all the starters in the game. Jessica Hopkins, Jade Randall, Stevie Schnorr, Nicole Peterson and company. They want to get a lot of reps in. And let's see if they find the end zone here. That is Stevie Schnorr walking in motion. And a crossing pattern. Dominique Malloy, a perfectly set up play. But Malloy could not break the plane.
That's the KK Matheny that was all fantasy that won the championship. Confident in the pocket, step up, deliver a strike, right when it broke, almost a touchdown.
This Seattle offense, you alluded to it earlier, over 160 plays, various personnel sets. I mean, there's so many ways they can come at you. And now they've got Katie Whelan lined up in the backfield. We haven't seen that all night. And that's who they're going to go to. Look at the open field tackle by Anna Garza. The backup quarterback for Austin playing a little safety.
You got to love Anna Garza, the quarterback playing safety, making Katie Whelan feel the burn, not letting her get in the end zone.
A good-looking goal line stand thus far by Austin. And that's maybe that pep talk on the sideline at the beginning of the fourth quarter did something to this defense because they're playing with a little more fire.
It absolutely did. Again, head coach Mike Oliveira, he's got this team playing good. I hate to say it again, they're going to be 0-4, but he has done a remarkable job coaching this team.
I'll second that. A bright future for Mike Oliveira in this league, certainly. That's a toss right play. Stevie Schnorr just finding a lane and getting back into the end zone. Another Seattle touchdown.
Again, the bull is unstoppable inside the 5. But getting back to your point, Coach Michelson doesn't want to be a one-trick pony going into the playoffs. Give the ball to Stevie Schnorr, give the ball to Stevie Schnorr, and that's it. That's why he's trying all these other plays. A lot of them are not connecting, but he wants to make this team gel going into LA.
I think I would feel really good about the run game if I'm a Seattle fan. Again, where I would be concerned is the passing game. KK Matheny with her top target, Jade Randall, not on the same page. Jessica Hopkins is an elder statesman. She's not going to get behind any defense in the playoffs, so that would be my prior concern.
They have to throw the ball to move on in the playoffs, and you're right, today it's not clicking.
Now the two-point attempt sailing well over the head of Jessica Hopkins, so they're not even connecting on the quick slant patterns.
Not even close. KK Matheny, the veteran, she knows on a quick post like that into a safety, you have to throw that low and in front of your receiver, and that was not even close.
That'll take us to a timeout. Seattle comfortably ahead.
Hey, come here. Stop fucking looking at me like you don't know what the fuck we're doing. I said at halftime we were gonna run a goose thing. What the fuck are we doing? You're out. Go to X. Go to fucking fullback. You're in Z. Any more questions?
If you weren't awake before, you are now if you're on that Austin sideline as we welcome you back to LFL football night, a fiery Mike Oliveira.
Well, these players, I hope they get the point because he's not thinking just for tonight. He's thinking about who's his players going to be for next season.
And Jessica Hopkins jumping the route. That is the second interception by Anna Garza. And that young lady's home finale here at Shower Center. In fact, we sat down and talked to her about her impending retirement.
This being my final game at the Shower Center, there's so many memories that I can take. Mostly just memories with my Seattle Miss family. We've become so close. I've met every girl that's come through this program. And just so many memories. I can't even summarize in one sentence. I'm sorry.
One of the greatest players ever to play in the LFL. It's only fitting she gets an interception here in the last quarter of her last game in Seattle.
KK Matheny in the offense again with great field position. And that is a crossing pattern. Dominique Malloy. Touchdown, Seattle.
Great play. Twin set to the right. A little rub, pick play on the outside. You got Malloy coming in. Great throw by Matheny to Malloy. Matheny and Malloy got it going. Now all she has to do is get it going with Randall.
Getting back to Jessica Hopkins, it is her home finale here at the Shower Center. Has not only produced on the field, but really one of the class people off the field, has really enabled the Seattle franchise to become perhaps the most successful as far as a collective franchise in the league.
Absolutely. No problem on the field, no problem off the field. She does everything right, everything for the team, everything for Seattle, everything for the league. You can't say enough about her.
A matter of time before number 5 is wearing that Hall of Fame jacket. Here on the field, Seattle converting on the extra point. That'll extend their lead to 56-6.
You mentioned about this Seattle running game. There is no problems. It is a strong running game. All they need is to perk up that passing game.
And I'll double up on that. The Los Angeles Corners looking again ahead to the conference championship. Chelsea Hart and Agam Chichindu are arguably one of the worst cover corners in the league. They're very physical, great against the run, but they're not going to cover you down the field. That opens up an incredible opportunity for this offense in that conference championship to test down the field.
Exactly right. Coach Michelson wanted this passing game to click tonight, get momentum coming into Los Angeles. It's not clicking. It's going to be interesting because you mentioned you can beat those corners.
That's a toss right to Michelle Marshall. Jade Randall only playing at 100%. She's got a lot of energy for someone who plays both sides of the ball, possibly in excess of 60 to 70 reps per game.
It's the kind of player any coach wants. She doesn't want the game to end. She doesn't want the season to end. She will play 24 hours a day if it was possible.
They call those gym rats, and she's kind of smart off the field, a Harvard grad. We cannot give enough accolades to number 18, Jade Randall. This is Anna Garza testing the flat, and guess who was in coverage? I won't even say her name.
Jade Randall again, outstanding season on defense. Let me take that back. Incredible season on defense.
They moved her from the safety position to defensive end, and she's become an absolute destructive force from the D-line.
And she's smart. When she drops in coverage like that, she plays like a cornerback. She can do it all.
A 3rd and 5 for Anna Garza in this Austin offense. Garza taking over for the injured Tashay Winfrey. That was an ugly-looking play from the beginning. A toss right to Michelle Marshall. You could see the frustration on Marshall. There looked to be some miscommunication with the blocking scheme. And Anna Garza.
We've seen Anna Garza have better halves. She's not playing great right now.
Fucking clusterfuck ass shit. Fuck me. Fuck.
That is the look of 0-4.
That is 0-4. He's getting his workout right now by the shrugs he's doing with his shoulders. He's so frustrated with his team. He really thought they're going to win tonight. Look at the score.
A 4th and 9 for the Austin offense. Garza completing it in the flat. That'll gain only about 4 yards as once again, this Seattle defense holds.
Anna Garza, we gave her a lot of accolades. The quarterback coming out of Mexico, not a good play there. She needed 9 yards, threw it underneath, not even a chance to get it.
Garza not even looking down the field. There's Michelle Marshall continuing the frustration on the sideline for Austin. Marshall coming in injured, yet still being cleared to play in this game.
We were running 23 sweeps.
It was 28. It was number 28. You want to know what
No,
number 28 is? 12 quarterback lead.
It wasn't number 28.
I looked at the numbers.
It was 47.
Continued miscommunication on the sideline in Austin. As we return back to action here, that was intended for Shea Norton. Again, well overthrown. Matheny not having a great second half. Let's go back to the sideline in Austin.
Because Anna told them to play.
I didn't call on. Well, where were you?
I looked at the play up here and I saw 28 and I looked down 12 quarterback lead.
I ran the play in.
You have to understand, none of us can hear Anna except the people in the front.
Okay.
I cannot hear Anna.
Calm down. Come here.
I have to see the numbers.
Okay, look.
Total frustration on the bench of Austin. She could not hear the quarterback. That is the number 1 rule in the huddle. They have to hear you talk loud. If they don't know the play, it's going to be messed up.
A 2nd and 10 handoff. Stevie Schnorr still cranking away late in the 4th quarter. And look at Schnorr get near the goal line. An 18-yard carry.
There is absolutely nothing wrong with the Bull going into the playoffs. She is ready to go, running through the entire defense. Wow.
She just threw Rachel Washington like she was a rag doll. You cannot go high on Stevie Schnorr.
Not at all. You have to gang tackle or try to strip the ball, but nobody in this league has figured it out.
A 1st and goal as the clock continues to run. 3 minutes remain between Seattle in the Western Conference Championship date versus Los Angeles. And for Austin, this is it. The final 3 minutes of their 2017 season. This is KK Matheny, good-looking shovel pass. We do have a flag. This may be on Seattle.
Number 5 for Seattle never got set for a second before the play. That's an illegal shift penalty. Seattle, 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Early indication was a false start, but that is an illegal formation on Seattle. So that touchdown pass to Jessica Hopkins will come back.
Another mental mistake by this offense of Seattle in the 4th quarter to take a touchdown off the board. That's unacceptable.
A 1st and goal here. The good news for Seattle, they're going to get 2, 3, 4 more looks at this end zone. A high snap back to Matheny, now guiding traffic. That did not have a chance as Matheny was trying to work the outside with Jessica Hopkins.
Hopkins was open quick again in the corner. She waited late and just threw the ball away.
A 2nd and goal here. And at what point, with Matheny struggling the way she is, do you start hearing whispers of Michelle Angel?
Well, maybe whispers. You have to start KK, but if she starts out cold against LA, hey, that's why you have Michelle Angel.
Those whispers may turn into screams if KK Matheny struggles early in that playoff. Here on the field, we're at the 2-minute warning with Austin down big. Back for the final 2 minutes, and next week, we're headed to the Heartland, Omaha, Nebraska, as the Heart will host the Chicago Bliss next week on LFL Football Night.
That game is going to be a lot better than people think. Looking forward to that.
Look at Stevie Schnorr, your game MVP, with impressive numbers, sharing a beer with one of the legendary Seattle Seahawks fans, Big Low.
Big Low. I can't say enough about Big Low. Love that guy.
The Seattle Seahawks community has really embraced the Seattle Mist. Lawyer Malloy doing the pregame speech, Cam Chancellor out for the coin toss. Great to see that synergy with the NFL team. This is KK Matheny looking over the middle and deflected right to Stevie Schnorr for another Seattle touchdown.
That's the way it's going for Austin tonight. They make a great defensive play to break up the pass. Unfortunately, it wasn't broken up. It was deflected right to who else? The game MVP, Stevie Schnorr. Watch this. Great play. Looks like it's knocked down. Nope, there's Stevie Schnorr right where the ball is. Another touchdown for Seattle.
That pass was intended for Jade Randall, so they are looking to connect KK Matheny and Jade Randall. It's just not happening.
Not happening at all. She's throwing the ball great to everybody else. The backs all night long, bam, 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 not to the wideouts.
I'm not sure Matheny can take full credit for that deflection. I'm not sure which Austin player got their hands on it, but that is Johnny on the spot, Stevie Schnorr. Now from the shotgun, the extra point attempt, crossing pattern. I'm not sure if Jessica Hopkins, actually that was Dominique Malloy, got into the end zone.
They tried that quick slant again, one-on-one, great coverage. They jumped on it this time. Again, great coaching by Oliveira. They adapted. They knew what the play was going to be. They jumped on that play.
Let's see if Austin can do something here in the final minute 53 of this game. Anna Garza may well be auditioning for a roster spot next season.
I think she has a spot on the roster, but she has to develop more if she wants to be the backup quarterback.
Garza back to pass. That's a quick screen. Cassandra Bills. And where has that play been all night? A gain of 8 yards.
They should be doing that the whole second half. One of the most dangerous receivers, Cassandra Bills, get her the football.
That 8-yard reception now setting up a 2nd and 2. The clock continues to run, a minute 30 remaining. And that's a crossing pattern again to Bills. So they are looking for number 3. Another 8-yard reception.
If they were doing this early in the second half, they would have had a chance. Obviously, Garza doesn't have the gun. It's to Shea Winfrey on a deep ball, but underneath, she's effective.
1st and 10, ball at the Seattle 19-yard line. Another poor snap. A throw into the flat. And that is exactly what happened to Michelle Marshall. She got flattened by Jessica Hopkins. In fact, we got him mic'd up. Listen in.
Good catch.
Wow. That's why Jessica Hopkins is a class act. Makes a clean hit, gets up, and tells the receiver, nice catch.
1st and goal now into the flat. Another completion. Again to Marshall. So Garza, an impressive 4 for 4 on this drive.
With the right offense, a West Coast type offense, Anna Garza is a very good quarterback. Throw it underneath, bam, 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 5-6, 5-6, all the way down the field.
You're right. She doesn't give you the home run threat that Shea Winfrey does, but she's very accurate underneath.
This will be good for her and this entire team if they can get points here with less than a minute left in the game to go into next season getting points up here in Seattle.
You could see that sideline still fighting for every yard. Again, the 0-4 mark does not really paint a picture of this Austin Acoustic franchise. This team is on the cusp of becoming an elite team with an entire offseason under the tutelage of Mike Oliveira and bringing in a few more pieces.
Well, that's it. That's why they're playing good football right now, because these players know they're all not going to be here next year. A handful will, but Oliveira is going to bring in some more talent.
A 3rd and goal as the clock continues to run. Another poor snap by center Brandy Stolte. And Garza just trying to sniff out the goal line. Gets down to about the 1 yard line. Christine Cortez with the goal line tackle.
Just a fiery player. Bad snap, takes the football, almost gets in the end zone. You got to like her heart.
We've seen her on the defensive side of the ball, Anna Garza, blow up offensive players. So we know she has the tenacity, the passion, and the intensity. If she develops as a quarterback, much like here in Seattle, maybe not of that caliber, that is a good setup to have in Austin with Winfrey and Garza as your 1 and 2 quarterbacks.
Absolutely. So you got to work on the techniques, work on the snap count, little things. But right there, she delivered a strike, should be 6, drop ball.
Cassandra Bills not having a very Cassandra Bills-like night. That is the 2nd drop of a potential touchdown.
That's 12 points off the board. You have to make that catch. In big games, catch the ball. That's 12 big points off the board.
Despite the disappointing end to her 2017 season, Cassandra Bills had a breakthrough year. Her with Kendria Robinson, those are incredible new additions to this Austin franchise.
They're going to be a fun team to watch. Exciting on offense. The defense has to shore up some position, but I'm looking forward to seeing them next year.
Seattle will now, all they'll have to do is take a knee. But in this position, we've seen it time and time again this year. The team goes down the field. We'll see if Seattle can show a little class here with only 21 seconds remaining. That is Matheny under center, going to hand it off to get out of the end zone. That handoff to Christine Cortez, and that should do it for us here as the final 10 seconds run off the clock. And Seattle can sense victory, and more importantly, a date headed to the playoffs.
That game's going to be fun. LA, great team. Seattle, great team. The offense not clicking in the passing game. It's going to be a fun game to see what happens.
Seattle with Shay Norton, Stevie Schnorr, Jade Randall, Michelle Angel, who didn't even dress tonight. They are certainly deep enough from a roster standpoint to get back to the Legends Cup for a 3rd straight season.
On the other side of the ball, Los Angeles, after speaking to Tui Suwanoa and Ashley Salerno, they are fired up to play against Seattle. I think the whole league wants to see this game.
That'll do it for us here in Seattle. The hometown Mist winning it big, 62-6 for Bobby Huco. This is Mitch Mortaza. We will see you next week on LFL Football Night.